history of the Western Hemisphere changed in a single hour. At 0400 this morning, the world woke up to reports of massive, coordinated explosions across Caracas. But this wasn't just another flare-up in tensions. This was Operation Southern Spear. For the first time in modern history, U.S. forces have initiated direct kinetic strikes on Venezuelan soil. The target list wasn't just infrastructure, it was leadership. President Trump has confirmed that Nicolas Maduro is no longer in power and is currently in U.S. custody. How did the most fortified regime in South America fall in one night? This is the breakdown. The operation began months ago, disguised as a counter-narcotics surge. The USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group had been holding position in the Caribbean, supposedly for radar surveillance. Intelligence suggests that at 0300 hours, F-35C Lightning stealth fighters launched from the carrier deck under the cover of a tropical storm. Their objective was the total suppression of Venezuelan air defenses. The Venezuelan military relies on Russian-made S-300 missile systems. On paper, these are formidable, but in practice, U.S. electronic warfare aircraft, specifically the EA-18G Growlers, likely blinded these radars minutes before the first missiles made impact. The skies over Caracas were wide open before the first siren even wailed. While the jets controlled the air, the real damage was done at sea level. The port of La Guaira, the economic lifeline of the Maduro regime, was struck by Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from guided missile destroyers offshore. We are seeing reports of precision strikes on the logistics hubs that facilitate the movement of illicit goods. But crucially, the U.S. avoided hitting civilian oil infrastructure. This indicates a strategy of regime removal, not nation destruction. The Venezuelan Navy, largely consisting of smaller patrol vessels, was effectively neutralized at the dock. There was no naval battle. There was simply a deletion of naval assets. But the airstrikes were just the distraction. The true objective of Operation Southern Spear was the high-value target package. Sources indicate that while the S-300 systems were burning, elite operators from Delta Force and the CIA's Special Activities Center conducted a heliborne raid on a fortified compound in the Fuerte Tiuna military district. This was a surgical extraction. Unlike the failed Operation Gideon in 2020, this was backed by the full might of the U.S. military. The extraction of Maduro and his inner circle effectively decapitated the chain of command. The Venezuelan military wasn't defeated. They were simply left without orders. As the sun rises over Caracas, confusion is the dominant force. The Bolivarian militia has been activated, but without central leadership, their response is fractured. The U.S. State Department has already declared this a liberation operation, avoiding the word war. But make no mistake, the pieces on the board have been swept away. The question now is not who will win the war, but who will keep the peace in the vacuum that follows. For uncensored images of the strike aftermath that we cannot show here, check the link in the pinned comment.